Armin had always considered himself careful with words. He prided himself on his ability to think before speaking, to weigh his sentences in a way that could not offend. Yet, on that sunny morning in the gleaming city of Nova Solis, he discovered that even the most careful minds could slip. The city itself was a marvel of human innovation, a testament to what humanity could achieve when intelligence, creativity, and diligence converged. Towering buildings made of glass and light reflected the sun in patterns that danced across the streets, while hovering vehicles zipped by in silent harmony, a symbol of how far humans had come in technology. Amidst all this advancement, humans still struggled with the simplest thing: words. Armin was on his way to the engineering hub where he worked, clutching a datapad filled with his designs for a new energy interface. His mind was buzzing with thoughts about the project, which was meant to revolutionize power distribution in the city. He had been assigned to work alongside Lena, a colleague whose reputation preceded her. She was known not only for her brilliant mind but for her confidence and poise. Lena had a presence that drew attention without demanding it, a quality that had always fascinated Armin. He admired her for her intelligence, her unwavering focus, and the way she could solve problems that others found impossible. Today, however, his admiration betrayed him in the most embarrassing way. As he entered the hub, he spotted Lena reviewing a holographic blueprint in the middle of the lab. She didn't notice him at first, her attention fully captured by the streams of data hovering in front of her. Armin approached cautiously, rehearsing his words. He wanted to make a friendly comment, something light to ease the tension before they delved into the day's work. Humans had a natural need to connect even in professional settings, and he intended to bridge that gap with a compliment. But sometimes intentions, no matter how pure, could go astray. "Morning, Lena," he said, attempting casual warmth in his voice. "You look, His mind scrambled for the right phrase, and in a split second he made the mistake that would haunt him. "You look great." The words fell into the air, awkward and poorly measured. Lena's head snapped up, her eyes widening slightly. There was a pause, a moment so sharp that Armin felt it cut through him like a laser. He could see the subtle shift in her expression, the surprise, the hint of discomfort, the immediate evaluation of his words. In that instant, Armin realized he had crossed a boundary without meaning to. He had tried to compliment her, to be friendly, but he had done so in a way that reduced a complex, intelligent woman to a fleeting impression of appearance. Lena didn't reply immediately. She simply gave a small nod and returned her attention to the holographic blueprint, her fingers moving across the floating panels with precision and confidence. Armin's stomach sank. He could feel the weight of his misstep pressing down on him, the kind of pressure that made even the simplest tasks feel monumental. He muttered something about the project, trying to divert attention, but his words felt hollow. He knew he had to fix this, yet he wasn't sure how. Apologizing was necessary, but the timing had to be right. Humans were complex creatures, capable of both understanding and resentment. One wrong step could set back not just a relationship but years of professional trust. Armin had seen it happen before. A single careless comment could ripple through an office like a poorly placed domino. He decided to focus on the task at hand, at least temporarily. They were working on a critical energy interface prototype that required precision and collaboration. Lena's mind was fully immersed in the project, and for a brief moment Armin envied her focus. It was a reminder of why he admired her. She had the ability to channel her energy into creation, to build solutions from chaos, and to see clarity where others saw only confusion. As they worked, Armin found himself stealing glances at Lena, not out of distraction but out of reflection. He observed her movements, the way her hands danced across the holographic controls, the way her eyes scanned the data with relentless intensity. It was a reminder that admiration, real admiration, should be for qualities that mattered: intelligence, diligence, creativity, not superficial appearances. By mid-morning, the prototype was partially functional, though there were still issues to address. Armin's mind, however, was elsewhere. He knew he had to find a way to communicate his apology. Humans had the unique ability to repair relationships, to acknowledge mistakes and seek understanding. This capacity for reflection and growth was one of the things he loved most about humanity. And now, he would have to put that capacity to the test. During lunch, Armin walked alone through the city's central plaza. The streets were alive with the rhythm of human activity. Children playing near interactive fountains, workers discussing projects while holographic charts floated above them, and artists projecting colorful images into the air. Amidst all this innovation, humans still navigated a delicate web of social interaction. Words mattered. Intent mattered. Respect mattered. Armand found a quiet bench and sat down, trying to organize his thoughts. He rehearsed what he would say to Lena, choosing each word with care. He didn't want to make another mistake. He wanted her to understand that his comment was thoughtless, not malicious, and that he valued her for far more than appearance. He wrote down a few lines on his data pad, a sincere acknowledgement of his misstep, an explanation of his true admiration, and a commitment to ensure it would never happen again. Back at the hub, Lena was reviewing the results of their morning tests. Her focus was impressive, her mind operating at a level that Armin could only aspire to. When he approached her later, datapad in hand, he felt a nervous knot tighten in his stomach. She looked up, meeting his gaze, and he noticed a flicker of curiosity in her eyes. Perhaps she could sense that he wanted to make amends. "Lena," he began, voice steady but respectful. "I want to apologize for what I said this morning. It was thoughtless, and I realize it might have made you uncomfortable. I truly admire your intelligence and dedication, and I didn't express that properly. I hope you can understand that it wasn't meant in any other way." Lena studied him for a moment, then nodded slowly. "I appreciate your honesty, Armin," she said. Her tone was calm but firm, a mixture of understanding and professional distance. "Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is that you recognize it and take responsibility." A wave of relief washed over Armin. The tension that had weighed on him all morning began to ease. He had learned something valuable, that humans, even in a technologically advanced society, still thrived on empathy, communication, and the courage to admit when they were wrong. The rest of the day passed with a renewed sense of focus. Armand and Lena worked seamlessly on the prototype, their collaboration marked by mutual respect and shared purpose. He found himself paying attention not to fleeting impressions or careless compliments, but to the substance of their work and the qualities that truly defined her as a person. By the time the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting golden light across the city, Armin felt a quiet satisfaction. The project was progressing, the apology had been made, and he had learned a profound lesson about the human experience. Words, while powerful, were only meaningful when paired with understanding, respect, and genuine intent. As he left the hub, Armin looked out at the city skyline. Nova Solis was a place of immense achievement, a monument to what humans could accomplish when they applied their minds and hearts to creation. Yet he realized that true progress wasn't only in technology or innovation. It was in the way humans treated each other, the way they communicated, and the way they learned from mistakes. Armin walked home with a lighter heart, knowing that tomorrow would bring more challenges, both technical and personal. He had stumbled, yes, but he had also grown. Humanity had the capacity to correct its course, to navigate the complexities of relationships and responsibilities with intelligence and empathy. And in that, he found not just relief but inspiration. Even in a world of holograms and hover vehicles, Armand understood that the human spirit, with all its imperfections and potential, remained the greatest marvel of all. The morning after his misstep, Armin arrived at the engineering hub feeling a mixture of nervousness and determination. He had spent the night thinking carefully about his words and actions, reflecting on how one small moment could shape relationships. He knew that human connections were delicate, even in a city that thrived on technological precision. Words, intentions, and understanding often mattered more than machinery or algorithms. This realization had grown within him, quietly but firmly, guiding every step he took that day. Lena was already at her workstation, reviewing the latest diagnostic data for the energy interface prototype. The blue light of the holographic display reflected in her eyes, giving her an almost ethereal glow. She was focused, efficient, and confident, qualities that Armin admired more deeply now, having realized how much his careless words could have undermined the professional respect between them. He approached her cautiously, letting her notice him without interrupting her concentration. "Good morning, Lena," he said softly, hoping his tone conveyed sincerity. He didn't want to speak too quickly, fearing another verbal misstep. "I hope you had a good evening." Lena looked up briefly and gave him a polite nod. Her expression was neutral but not cold, and that small acknowledgement gave Armand the courage to continue. He had learned that humans, despite their sophistication, often responded not only to what was said but to the intent behind it. His intent was clear. He wanted to show respect and understanding, not discomfort or intrusion. Throughout the morning, Armand focused on the project with renewed determination. He and Lena ran simulations, adjusted energy outputs, and experimented with different interface configurations. Yet even as his mind worked, he couldn't ignore the tension that lingered between them. He realized that communication was more than words. It was a reflection of thoughtfulness and awareness. Every gesture, glance, and tone mattered. During a short break, Armand decided to send Lena a more considered message. He accessed his datapad and wrote slowly, carefully choosing each sentence. His message was neither long nor elaborate, but it carried honesty and clarity. He expressed regret for his earlier comment, emphasizing that his admiration was for her intelligence, skill, and professionalism. He highlighted the importance of mutual respect and trust, and he promised to focus on their shared goals. Sending the message felt like opening a small window of understanding, a chance to rebuild the professional bridge he feared he had damaged. Later, as the morning light streamed through the tall glass windows of the hub, Lena finally responded. Her message was precise, measured, and thoughtful. She acknowledged that everyone made mistakes and praised Armand for his sincerity and willingness to reflect. She emphasized that intent mattered more than words, and that actions ultimately revealed character more clearly than fleeting expressions. Armand read her response several times, letting the words sink in. He felt a wave of relief, but also a quiet sense of admiration for Lena's ability to handle situations with clarity and grace. The day continued with intense collaboration. A new problem arose with the energy interface. A minor flaw in the output matrix caused inconsistent power distribution in certain test scenarios. It was a challenge that required both creativity and precision. Armand and Lena approached the problem methodically, discussing potential solutions and running multiple simulations. Armand observed Lena's problem-solving process closely, noticing the unique ways in which she approached complexity. She had a remarkable ability to remain calm while analyzing chaotic data, a skill that was both inspiring and humbling. While troubleshooting, Armand reflected on a human trait that often went unnoticed: the capacity for learning from mistakes. Not just technical errors, but social missteps as well. He had experienced it firsthand that morning. The same patience and intelligence that Lena applied to technical problems were now mirrored in her approach to interpersonal challenges. Humans, he realized, had an extraordinary ability to grow from reflection, to adapt, and to repair what was broken. It was not perfection that defined them, but the willingness to improve. By mid-afternoon, they had narrowed down the source of the problem in the energy interface. The solution required precise synchronization of several control modules, a task that demanded both technical skill and trust in each other's judgment. Armand suggested a method he believed could stabilize the output, but he allowed Lena to review and approve it first. Her eyes scanned the holographic matrix, her fingers hovering above the controls. After a moment, she nodded, acknowledging the merit of his approach while making minor adjustments to enhance efficiency. "That should work," she said confidently. "But we need to monitor it carefully." Armand agreed, noting in his mind how respect and collaboration often went hand in hand. A human's capacity to combine intellect with humility, to trust while verifying, created an environment where challenges could be met successfully. This project, more than any conversation, was teaching him about the subtle dynamics of human interaction: patience, communication, and acknowledgement of others' contributions. As they ran the simulation, the interface stabilized. The energy flowed evenly across the test network, and the holographic indicators displayed optimal performance. Armand allowed himself a brief smile, feeling a surge of satisfaction not just in the success of the project, but in the progress he had made personally. He realized that human growth was not limited to professional skill. It extended to character, empathy, and the courage to acknowledge faults. During another short break, Armand took a moment to observe Lena from a distance. She was reviewing the results with careful attention, occasionally making small adjustments. He noticed how focused she remained despite minor setbacks and interruptions. There was something profoundly inspiring about her dedication, a reminder of why humans had achieved so much in science, art, and technology. Even in moments of potential discomfort or misunderstanding, humans had the ability to rise above, to prioritize growth and collaboration. Lena glanced up and caught him looking. Instead of embarrassment or irritation, she gave a small, almost imperceptible smile. It was a subtle gesture, but it carried weight. In human communication, he reflected, sometimes the smallest signs, a nod, a glance, a brief acknowledgement, could convey more than words. It was a reminder that building trust required attention, not only to speech but to the subtleties of behavior. The afternoon passed quickly as they continued testing and refining the interface. Their collaboration became smoother, each learning to anticipate the other's approach, adjusting in ways that made the work more efficient. Armin felt a growing sense of mutual respect. The previous morning's incident, while uncomfortable, had opened a space for reflection and understanding. Humans, he noted, had a remarkable capacity to convert even awkward moments into opportunities for growth. By late afternoon, the interface was functioning near perfectly. Armin and Lena leaned back from the holographic controls, allowing themselves a moment of satisfaction. The project was advancing faster than expected, thanks to both their skills and their willingness to work together despite earlier tension. Armin realized that progress, whether technical or personal, was always rooted in respect, communication, and the humility to learn. As they packed up for the day, Armin felt a quiet sense of gratitude. He had learned more than just engineering lessons today. He had learned about human resilience, empathy, and the subtle ways in which trust could be rebuilt. Lena's approach to challenges, calm, analytical, and respectful, was a reminder of why humanity had achieved so much despite imperfections and setbacks. Humans were not perfect machines. They were creatures of thought, emotion, and moral courage, and it was precisely that combination that made them extraordinary. Walking home through the city, Armin reflected on the day. The streets were alive with activity, yet in the midst of technological marvels, hovering vehicles, holographic displays, and advanced robotics, it was the human element that struck him most. The way people communicated, learned, and supported one another remained the greatest achievement of all. No machine, no matter how advanced, could replicate the subtleties of empathy, the courage to admit mistakes, or the capacity to grow. He thought about Lena, about the lessons she had unconsciously taught him through her responses and her professionalism. Admiration, he realized, was best expressed through respect, diligence, and integrity rather than fleeting compliments. Humans were capable of transformation not just in skill but in character, and that ability to learn and adapt was, by the time Armin reached his apartment, the sun had dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of orange and pink. The city lights began to shimmer, reflecting off the glass towers in a dance of color and motion. In that moment, he felt a renewed sense of purpose, not only to succeed in his work but to continue growing as a person. Mistakes would come, as they always did, but humans had the remarkable capacity to reflect, repair, and improve, and in that, he found both comfort and inspiration. That night, Armin reviewed his notes on the day's work, making adjustments to the interface design and refining his own methods of communication. He wrote down reflections on how human behavior, empathy, and trust influenced every interaction, whether professional or personal. Each line on the datapad was a reminder that. The following morning, Armin arrived at the engineering hub with a sense of anticipation. The day promised more than routine work. It carried the possibility of real challenge. Overnight, a critical issue had emerged in the energy interface prototype. Certain test modules were failing intermittently, and if the problem persisted, the entire project could face delays. The challenge demanded not just technical skill, but collaboration, focus, and the ability to respond under pressure. Armin felt a familiar mix of excitement and nervousness. Challenges were the proving grounds of human capability, and he intended to meet this one head-on. Lena was already at her workstation, scanning the latest data with her usual calm intensity. Her eyes moved across the holographic displays, processing streams of numbers, diagrams, and outputs faster than anyone else in the hub could manage. Armin observed her for a moment, reminded again of the qualities he admired: patience, intelligence, and a quiet determination that inspired trust. Today, more than ever, he knew that their success depended on their ability to communicate effectively, to work as a team, and to rely on each other's strengths. The problem with the prototype was subtle. The energy interface was designed to distribute power evenly across multiple sectors of the city. In theory, it should have functioned flawlessly. In practice, minor discrepancies in the control matrix caused fluctuations in energy output, which risked destabilizing the system. Armin and Lena had only a few hours to identify the source and correct it. The pressure was intense, but it was also exhilarating. Humans, unlike machines, could adapt in real time, analyze patterns creatively, and improvise when circumstances demanded it. That adaptability was their greatest advantage. Armin started by reviewing the diagnostic reports. His eyes scanned the data methodically, noting inconsistencies in the output logs. He identified a pattern. The fluctuations occurred only when multiple sectors were simultaneously drawing high energy. He pointed this out to Lena, explaining his observations clearly and concisely. Lena listened carefully, her attention never wavering. She then cross-referenced his findings with her own simulations, confirming his suspicions. "Your observation is correct," she said, her voice steady but encouraging. "The issue lies in the synchronization between these modules. If we adjust the timing slightly, we can stabilize the output." Armin felt a surge of relief. Not only had he contributed to the solution, but Lena had acknowledged his input without hesitation or doubt. In that moment, he realized a fundamental truth about human collaboration. Respect and trust were as important as intelligence. Humans could achieve extraordinary results, but only when they combined skill with understanding and confidence in one another. They began adjusting the control modules together. Armin suggested minor recalibrations while Lena verified their impact using holographic simulations. The process required constant communication, careful observation, and a willingness to adapt. Armin noticed that as they worked, their interactions had grown smoother. The tension that had existed after his earlier misstep had transformed into a productive synergy. Humans, he thought, were remarkable in their ability to overcome awkward beginnings and create cooperation out of initial discomfort. Time passed quickly as they implemented adjustments and monitored results. Each success, however small, was celebrated with a brief nod or a word of acknowledgement. It was a reminder that human achievement was built not just on innovation, but on encouragement, mutual recognition, and shared effort. Armin reflected that many technological advancements could be traced back not only to intelligence, but to human qualities such as patience, empathy, and collaboration. By mid-afternoon, the interface had stabilized significantly, though minor fluctuations remained. Armin suggested a test scenario that simulated peak energy demand across the city, the most demanding condition the system would face. Lena analyzed his plan and approved it, recognizing the merit in testing their adjustments under extreme conditions. The simulation began, and for several tense minutes, nothing went wrong. The energy interface responded perfectly, distributing power evenly and maintaining stability. Armin allowed himself a small smile. Their combined efforts had resolved a problem that could have delayed the project by weeks. Humans, he thought, were truly capable of remarkable things when they applied intelligence, diligence, and collaboration. Lena glanced at him and gave a faint, approving nod. It was subtle, yet it carried meaning. The acknowledgement wasn't about compliments or appearance, it was recognition of skill, focus, and perseverance. Armin understood that this was the essence of respect, valuing a person for what they contributed, for the effort they invested, and for the integrity they displayed. In that moment, he felt a deep sense of gratitude for having the opportunity to work alongside someone who embodied these qualities. With the prototype now functioning optimally, they turned their attention to documenting the adjustments and preparing a report for the city council. This phase required precision, as the report would influence decisions regarding citywide implementation of the energy interface. Armin marveled at Lena's ability to organize complex information and present it clearly. Even the smallest details were accounted for, reflecting her commitment to excellence. Working together, they completed the report efficiently, their collaboration now operating like a well-oiled machine. During a brief pause, Armin and Lena stepped away from the holographic displays to stretch and rest. Armin felt a sense of calm, mixed with accomplishment. Challenges, he realized, were not merely obstacles. They were opportunities for humans to demonstrate resilience, creativity, and cooperation. Lena noticed his thoughtful expression and smiled slightly. Armin returned the gesture, understanding that this was a simple yet powerful form of communication. Humans didn't always need words to convey acknowledgement or appreciation. Sometimes a shared glance or a nod was enough. As the day drew to a close, the hub quieted down. Other teams had left, leaving Armin and Lena alone amidst the glow of holographic displays and the faint hum of machinery. The city outside shimmered in the evening light, reflecting the progress humanity had made in engineering, innovation, and design. Yet Armin realized that the most remarkable aspect of human achievement wasn't technology. It was the capacity to grow, adapt, and collaborate. He thought back to the comment he had made about Lena's appearance days ago, and how that moment of embarrassment had led to reflection and growth. It had been a reminder that humans were not perfect, but they had the extraordinary ability to acknowledge mistakes and improve. The project's success today was a testament not only to technical skill but to communication, trust, and mutual respect. As they finalized the report and prepared to leave, Lena turned to Armin. "You handled the adjustments well today," she said, her tone measured but warm. "Your observations and quick thinking made a real difference." Armin felt a surge of pride, not in arrogance, but in recognition of human potential. Praise, when deserved and thoughtfully given, was more than a compliment. It was a reflection of acknowledgement, encouragement, and shared accomplishment. "Thank you, Lena," he replied. "I couldn't have done it without your guidance and collaboration." Walking out of the hub together, they shared a quiet sense of satisfaction. The city outside was alive with energy, yet what struck Armin most was the human spirit that powered it. The curiosity, creativity, and empathy that drove people to innovate and improve. Humans, he reflected, were capable of extraordinary achievements because of not just intellect, but character. As they parted ways for the evening, Armin walked home slowly, taking in the sights and sounds of Nova Solace. Hover vehicles glided silently overhead, holographic advertisements shimmered on building facades, and distant fountains reflected the golden light of the setting sun. Despite all the technological marvels surrounding him, he realized that the true wonder of the city was its people, their ability to think, feel, adapt, and grow. That night, Armin reviewed the events of the day, noting technical successes and personal lessons alike. He wrote down reflections on communication, collaboration, and empathy, understanding that these qualities were as critical to success as intelligence or technical skill. Mistakes, he realized, were not failures, they were opportunities for growth. The way humans responded to challenges, both technical and social, defined the strength of their spirit. As he prepared for sleep, Armin thought about Lena and the lessons she had imparted without even intending to. Patience, clarity, professionalism, and the ability to forgive and trust. These were qualities that elevated humans above mere mechanical logic. In a world filled with advanced technology and rapid progress, it was the human mind and heart that remained the greatest force of all. Armin drifted into sleep with a sense of calm confidence. Tomorrow would bring new tasks, new challenges, and new opportunities to apply what he had learned. And he felt ready. Humans, he reflected, had the unique ability to combine intellect with empathy, skill with humility, and effort with reflection. That combination, more than any machine or invention, was what made them extraordinary. The next morning, Armin arrived at the engineering hub with a quiet sense of anticipation. The prototype they had been refining for weeks was now almost ready for a full-scale demonstration. Today, they would present it to the city council and other senior engineers. The stakes were high and the pressure was tangible. Armin felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness, but he also felt prepared. Over the past days, he had not only contributed technically, but had grown personally. His earlier mistakes, while uncomfortable, had taught him lessons about respect, patience, and the power of human connection. Lena was already at her workstation, reviewing the presentation data and simulation results. She looked calm and composed, her focus unwavering. Armin admired her dedication and the effortless way she handled responsibility. He realized again how humans, even in a high-pressure environment, had the capacity to remain composed, analyze complex problems, and act with both intelligence and integrity. Her presence reassured him. Today they were partners, equals, and collaborators in a shared mission. As they began preparing for the demonstration, Arman and Lena reviewed every aspect of the prototype. The energy interface needed to operate flawlessly, distributing power efficiently across multiple sectors of the city. Any mistake could have consequences for the project and for public trust in the technology. They worked in tandem, adjusting modules, running simulations, and documenting results. Communication between them had become natural, seamless. Arman noted how trust and understanding had replaced the tension from their earlier interaction. Respect, he thought, was built through actions as much as words. By late morning, the system was fully functional and ready for presentation. The council members began arriving, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and expectation. Arman felt a surge of determination. He knew the success of the demonstration would not only reflect the technical quality of the prototype, but also the capability of humans to collaborate, innovate, and learn from mistakes. Humanity had always thrived not because of perfection, but because of adaptability, resilience, and the courage to improve. Lena and Arman presented the prototype with clarity and confidence. Arman explained the technical functions, highlighting the innovative methods used to stabilize energy distribution under extreme conditions. Lena demonstrated the control matrix in real-time simulations, showing how the system responded to various scenarios with precision and reliability. The council members listened intently, asking questions and taking notes. Arman could see the admiration in their eyes, not just for the technology, but for the teamwork, professionalism, and skill displayed. During the presentation, a minor glitch appeared in one of the test simulations. The energy distribution momentarily fluctuated, creating a ripple in the holographic interface. Arman's heart skipped a beat. For a moment he feared that this small issue could overshadow all their efforts. But Lena reacted immediately. With calm authority, she adjusted the parameters and explained the correction to the council, demonstrating not only technical skill but also composure under pressure. Arman quickly implemented her adjustment and the system stabilized. The council members nodded in approval, impressed by the swift resolution and the effectiveness of their teamwork. After the demonstration, the council congratulated them on the success of the prototype. Arman felt a mixture of pride and humility. Pride in what they had achieved and humility in recognizing that human potential was realized not in isolation, but through collaboration and mutual support. Lena's earlier message about intent and respect echoed in his mind. He had learned that actions, consistency, and integrity were far more meaningful than casual words. The day's success was proof of that lesson. Later, as the hub quieted down, Arman and Lena reviewed the notes from the demonstration. They discussed potential improvements, future applications, and ways to optimize the interface for the entire city. The conversation was lively but respectful, marked by shared curiosity and genuine enthusiasm. Arman realized that this was the essence of human achievement, working together, combining knowledge and creativity, and learning from every experience. Challenges, setbacks, and even awkward moments were simply part of the process. During a short break, Arman decided to express his gratitude more personally. He approached Lena, feeling a mix of nervousness and confidence. "Lena," he said, "thank you for your guidance and support these past days. Your calmness and insight have taught me a lot, not just about engineering, but about how humans handle challenges and grow from them." Lena looked at him, her expression thoughtful. "Arman," she replied, "you've grown too. I've seen how seriously you take responsibility, and your willingness to reflect and improve is rare. Today's success shows not just skill, but character. That matters as much as any technical accomplishment." Her words made Arman feel a quiet warmth. Humans had a remarkable ability to inspire one another, to elevate others through encouragement and recognition. True admiration, he realized, was not about appearance or fleeting impressions. It was about integrity, effort, and growth. It was about celebrating intelligence, diligence, and moral courage. As the day turned to evening, Arman walked home through the vibrant streets of Nova Solis. The city was alive with light, movement, and energy. Hover vehicles glided smoothly above, while pedestrians moved through illuminated pathways, exchanging ideas, sharing laughter, and working together. Despite the advanced technology surrounding him, Arman found his attention drawn most to the human spirit, the creativity, perseverance, and empathy that fueled every innovation and every achievement. He reflected on the past days, the moment of embarrassment, the careful apology, the long hours of collaboration, and the final success of the project. Every step had been a lesson in humanity. Humans were capable of brilliance not only because of intellect or technical skill, but because of their capacity to reflect, to empathize, and to grow. Mistakes did not diminish them. Their responses to mistakes defined their character. At home, Arman reviewed his notes one last time before resting. He wrote about the lessons learned, the importance of thoughtful communication, the value of collaboration, and the strength of humility and integrity. He recorded observations about how human behavior influenced every aspect of achievement, from technical innovation to interpersonal relationships. Each note was a reminder that success was multidimensional, rooted not just in outcomes but in the qualities that made humans extraordinary. Before sleep, he thought about Lena again. She had been a teacher of sorts, not in the traditional sense, but through example. Her focus, calmness, and fairness had shown him the best of human qualities. Arman understood that admiration was best expressed through respect, support, and acknowledgement of true capabilities. Words alone could not convey the depth of appreciation. Actions, consistency, and integrity were far more powerful. The next morning, Arman returned to the hub with renewed energy. The prototype was scheduled for wider implementation, and he and Lena would oversee its deployment. Their work would influence the city's energy systems for years to come. Yet for Arman, the personal growth he had experienced was equally significant. He had learned lessons that no simulation or technical manual could teach: patience, empathy, reflection, and the courage to admit mistakes. Humans had a remarkable ability to learn and evolve, to turn errors into opportunities, and to support one another in achieving goals greater than themselves. As they began another day of work, Arman noticed how naturally their collaboration flowed. Suggestions were offered and received without hesitation. Adjustments were made with trust and mutual respect, and every decision was grounded in both intelligence and moral clarity. The experience reinforced a vital truth. Humans were capable of extraordinary achievements not only because of their brains, but because of their hearts. Integrity, empathy, and determination were as critical as technical skill. By midday, the prototype was running seamlessly across multiple test sites. Arman and Lena monitored each module, fine-tuned the system, and prepared reports for the council. The work was demanding, but their partnership was strong. Arman realized that every challenge they faced had strengthened not only the project but also his understanding of human potential. Humanity's ability to adapt, collaborate, and grow made even the most difficult tasks achievable. At the end of the day, as they packed up, Lena turned to Arman and smiled. "You've done well, Arman. I'm glad we worked together on this project. Your growth has been impressive." Arman smiled back, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. "Thank you, Lena. I've learned a lot, not just about engineering, but about how humans grow and support each other. Today's success belongs to both of us." As they parted ways, Arman walked home under the glowing sky of Nova Solis. He reflected on the journey, the initial mistake, the careful apology, the intense collaboration, and the ultimate triumph. He understood that humans were capable of more than technical brilliance. They could reflect, learn, and elevate one another. Mistakes were not failures, they were opportunities for growth. Trust, respect, and understanding were that night, Arman wrote in his personal journal, summarizing the lessons of the past days. He noted how humans' intelligence, empathy, patience, and courage had allowed them to succeed even in challenge.